My work is focused on narrative identities, on how to deconstruct and reconstruct the stories we choose to tell about ourselves or about others. Because each of us, we are a bundle of stories. Family, community, country, religion, myths. Everything contributes to create our identity. And I believe it's extremely powerful to be more aware of these stories, especially since many of them are unconscious. And when you become more conscious, you can actually choose the person you want to be, the stories you accept and the ones you reject. Muslim countries are a fascinating ground for storytelling, a world of contrasts and confusion, at the cornerstone of so many cultures, and yet which has been portrayed in the media as a single story of oppression and terror. When I came to Pakistan for the first time, I was surprised how the real story was far away from what I heard. I was surprised by the tension, the contradiction between very rigid and patriarchal collective norms and an internal individual craving for love and connection. Something we can feel in the passion from young people for Sufi music and qawwalis, for example. I felt that this tension was especially experienced by men. We talk a lot about the impact of patriarchal societies on women, but not so much about our men. And especially in a young country as Pakistan, where 65% of the population is under 30. So I went around Lahore to interview some of these young men. What does it mean to be a man in 2017 in Pakistan? How do they see their role in today's society and in the future? Are they comfortable with the traditional notion of masculinity? And if not, what are they doing about it? What do they propose to change the narrative? Here are their stories.
So, traditional masculinity in Pakistan, I feel, is a lot about being closed, being decisive, knowing what you want as a person, having everything figured out, about being responsible. It has about being capable, I think, authoritative. So these are some of the words that we would use to describe traditional masculinity.
Being a man, the first responsibility on a man in Pakistani society is the financial pressure. A man has to, bear all the financial pressure. And the second word would be dominance. A man must be dominant. Like it's just a myth or whatever. But a man must be dominant. And the third thing would be like he should be very powerful or strong. Strong. We take strong as an other in another perspective, not like physically or something.
So today, masculinity is about privilege, freedom, leading, authority, and responsibility. Freedom. I can go anywhere, anytime. I can, it's like compared to being a woman, it's very easy. I love the freedom of being a man.
My father used to tell me that you are the sole earner and sole breadwinner of the family, and you have to focus more than your sisters who have got to marry someone else and have to go.
So a man has to be the leader, has to be the protective authority, has to be an authoritative figure. That's like the only way for a man to be in a traditional masculine world. So in a typical couple, a man and a woman, a guy has to take care of the girl. It's like it's just supposed to be that way, right? It can't be the other way around.
So if you consider my friend circle, and it's a big circle, but I still can share my emotional views with very few people, which is again alarming and disturbing for me as well, because I can only talk to few people in my circle about my emotional state.
Because you're a man?
It has to do with being a man, because I believe when you're a man, you're being considered as emotional free or nothing to do with what you feel in your life, or if you want to express it, you have to absorb your emotions and all that.
There's a tendency of a human being that it gets high temper, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have high temperament, or you are angry at something, you need to let your anger out. It could be on your pet, it could be on your goal, it could be on your phone, anything on which you are having a control, right? So that is where I think so, because in our country, somehow women are not that much powerful, kind of, and that is somewhere I think like we get our anger and get out. Basically, we have our anger on our woman, and that is something ridiculous. Not sharing do have some flaws. That is anxiety, depression, irritated kind of behavior, change in behavior, ultimately suicides. I think suicides are just because of people don't share stuff.
Like some of them pretend to be other people. Like they want to be masculine because they doubt themselves that they are masculine or not.
So guys do not share their stuff with other guys, and one of the most important, no, can't really say important, but one of the main reason is that if they do share their emotional things with other guys, they just start going to lambaste them like, what the hell this is such a girlish thing that you're doing. And if they're talking about a girl, they'll or an emotional thing, they start saying that you're a guy and you should man up, and or start making fun of that girl being with other guys or those kind of things. So that happens a lot in over here. So I think changing that, at least be better listeners, that would be the first step.
Right now I could just call or text one of my female friends and ask for a long conversation. I can't exactly do that with my guy friends. It's possible, but it requires far more effort.
I just feel that I'm sort of wearing a mask, and it's sort of related to an issue of class too. And what I mean by that is that I have to project a certain image to remain in the society and to acquire certain power so that I am accepted and I have access to the resources and sort of acceptance in the society, and then people take me for not who I am, but the way they want me to be like. So I would certainly like to remove that mask, but unfortunately there are certain circumstances because of which I just cannot be myself. So that would be the first task which I would like to follow.
I felt like the masculine form as embodied by the Prophet and by his companions and the generations after was a very beautiful, a very peaceful form of masculinity that I did not think was possible. Learning more about the Prophet's life taught me to be more sensitive, more quiet, more at peace with yourself, instead of being loud and rambunctious and controlling and dominating, which is all the aspects that is wrong with masculinity these days. And so I learned to be a feminist by reading more about the Prophet. So I felt like that learning, unlearning and relearning process was very important for me.
So talking about role models, I feel Edie springs up in mind instantly because I feel he does embody most of the qualities I would define for ideal masculinity. He's very selfless. He was open despite his religious beliefs. He was non-judgmental, and although I feel he wasn't as demonstrative or emotional, I feel that perhaps the ideal man should be. But he's certainly up there for me. Also, I think my dad has been a big role model for me over the years. That's primarily because of the transitions that he's undergone in his life, how despite the exposure that we have now, he still challenged a lot of the gender norms at that point, and he would help in the house. My mom was the one who was actually working, so I saw gender reversal at a very early age, and I think I think both of them have been really important role models for me.
Compassion, kindness, love.
Leader, caring, thoughtful, problem solving.
I personally believe men must be soft. The first thing they must develop is a softness, is a kindness in the heart. We just take that a person, if a man cries, come on, you're a man, be a man. Like, what's wrong with crying? What's wrong with being kind to someone? So, men must be make themselves soft.
We just need to unlearn things that we have learned. If we've been conditioned in a certain manner all our lives. In different cultures, different people are conditioned in a different manner altogether. For instance, you're from France, you have a different conditioning altogether. From Pakistan, I have a different conditioning altogether, depending on what background, family, status that I come from. And I think that really deteriorates the sort of thinking that you build, ideology that you bring along with yourself. So I think you need to work on recreating your own identity. I think it's more to do with your building up your own identity rather than following a certain identity which has been there with you through and through, because that might just end up being a myth. You never know that. It's better that you construct your own myth around yourself. So I think that's the first step, should be that you take the responsibility on your own, find your own particular identity. Once you do that, then you jump into more categorical things such as social aspects, the humanistic aspects.
If they're being sexist, you need to tell them, you need to stop them right there, in one way or the other. So that is what I think we can actually do completely.
Be the person you want others to be. Be the change, as Gandhi said, that be the change you wish to make in the world. So start from yourself, and the things you want to develop in others, develop them in yourself. Try with the little things around you. You can make your home a better place. You can make your family a better place to be, and you can contribute with your brothers and sisters and all the stuff, all the people you have around you, and you can make them feel good. You can make them feel special with just a few words of yours and just some nice compliments, and it really matters, and it can change the whole day and the mood.
I do want the society to change. I do want this cycle to break. I should be changing mindsets of people around me, people in my family. And if we as individuals can do something, I think the whole society can change and our fears can be conquered.